Hello, I'm John Kneebone and welcome to Mainline Baits, Carp Fishing TV and another how-to video, where today I'm going to be showing you how to make custom swirly pop-ups. We've also got another giveaway and a chance to win a mini bait making bundle, so make sure you watch to the end of the video for details on how to enter. And that's where we'll also be announcing the winner from our last snowman rig giveaway. Right, there's lots to get through, so we best get started. The first thing you'll need is a single egg. This is enough to make a tub of pop-ups. We're going to be using the multi-stim liquid additive, which is an appetite stimulator designed to induce fish into feeding. Next up, we're going to use one of the active aids in the squid flavour. We're going to combine that with the pineapple juice from the Profile Plus range, along with the banana and pear from the Response flavour range. To blend all our flavours together and remove any potential bitterness, we're going to use the HydraSweet Intense Sweetener. We need two colour dyes to create swirly baits, white, red, then the two combine together to create pink. We'll then be adding the Polaris pop-up mix to build up our paste. Along with the ingredients, you'll also need a mixing bowl, a fork again for mixing through your paste. We're going to use a syringe for doing our flavour levels. That makes it a lot easier to get small levels of flavour, and then for the larger levels of flavour we can use a measuring spoon. For uniform baits and speeding up the process, I've got a 12mm and a 16mm rolling table along with a bait gun. Little pro tip for you now, we're going to take some unflavoured olive oil and add that to our rolling tables to make rolling the baits a lot easier and stop them from sticking. So we can divide the liquids into two, I've got a couple of beakers. I'll explain this more later. Another important item is a plastic bag to stop your paste drying out before rolling. And finally, you'll need a dry towel or an air dry tray like this to lay out all your baits after boiling so that they can air dry, ready for storage. Okay then, let's begin the mix by cracking our egg into the mixing bowl like so. We can then take our fork and just gently mix the egg yolk through into the egg white evenly. We can now begin adding our liquid flavours and additives, starting with 10ml of the multi-stim. A super versatile liquid, can be used in spod mixes as well as bait making processes as we're doing here, and it's the perfect starting point for any boilie mix. As a rule of thumb, I like to use between 5 and 10ml of flavour to a 1 egg mix. I'm going to start that off with 5ml of squid aid. Remember, this is a hook bait mix and not a feed boilie mix, so we can use higher levels of attraction. We're going for a fruity squid type bait here, so I'm going to use the pineapple juice from the Profile Plus range, and I'm going to use the syringe here to make it easier to add 3ml of the flavour. There we go, we can just see it marked off there. Makes it so much easier, and in the flavour goes. We've used two quite strong flavours so far, so we're now going to add a flavour that's a little bit more subtle, and 2ml of the banana and pear, which I think will complement the mix perfectly. The HydraSweet Intense Sweetener now finishes off the flavours, not just to sweeten them, but to round them off and palletise them all together nicely and remove any potential bitterness from the mix. There we go, that's it for the flavours. Now give the liquids a gentle mix together to evenly distribute all the flavours. Okay, now take a beaker so that you can divide the liquids into two. The portions don't have to be even, just roughly half and half like this. And what this means is that we can now make two different coloured pastes. One can be white, and then we can use the other level of liquid to create a pink paste. So for our first half of the mix, we're going to use the white true colour dye to create a white coloured paste. So simply remove the lid, and then we're going to use round about half a teaspoon, something like that. Just add that into our liquids there. Just knock that off the end of the fork. I probably shouldn't have been so lazy and used a teaspoon. And then we're going to mix that through thoroughly like so that our liquids have an even distribution of bait dye and colour, and we're ready for the next step. We can now begin to add our dry ingredient, the Polaris pop-up mix, so that we can build up a nice paste ready for rolling out our pop-ups. Now, what's really important when you create a paste is that you add your dry ingredients, whether that's a pop-up mix or a boilie base mix, a little at a time, and then just mix that through. And as you can see here, that's still extremely runny, but what we're going to do is just take a little bit more of the Polaris mix now. We'll add another couple of spoons, and like I say, it's really important that you just add a little at a time. Don't try weighing it all out and adding it in one go. It's much better to just keep building it up as we're doing here. There we go. We've got to a point now where we're struggling to continue using the fork for mixing up our paste. There you are. Look, it's quite tacky. It's starting to build nicely now, and it's now time to get your hands in and start mixing and kneading by hand. We're very close to the finished paste now, almost ready for rolling. It's still just that little bit too wet, that little bit too sticky. So we're just going to take a little more of our Polaris mix, only sort of half spoons now, only adding just a very little. This is a crucial part of the mix. We really don't want to add too much now and make it too dry. So we'll knead that through again. And as you can see, we've now built up a nice ball of paste. It's got the perfect texture. It's not too dry, it's not too sticky, and here's the biggest indicator that it's ready to roll. It's no longer sticking to the palm of my hand. If you can do that, then you know you don't need to add any more mix. It's just about ready. Right, there you go. All we need to do now is leave the paste rest for a few minutes so that the dry ingredients can absorb any remaining moisture. Okay, I've left the paste rest for around about half an hour, and it's now perfect. It's not gripping or sticking to the palm of my hand, but when I split it open, it's got the perfect texture. There's still just enough stickiness there for it to bind together nicely, and it goes to show how important it is to take your time and add your dry ingredients to the wet ingredients a little at a time. We can now add the paste to a plastic bag. Just turn a few turns in the bag, seal off any air just so that it doesn't dry out, as we move on to the next step and roll in a second ball of paste. All we need to do now is repeat the exact same process we followed to create our white paste. So I'm going to add that liquid to the mixing bowl. I'm now going to add some of the red true colour dye. We will add a little bit of white in a moment to create the pink, but first off we're going to add around about half a teaspoon of the red. In it goes into the liquids, and then we'll just give that a little bit of a mix around just so that it's evenly distributed. And now we're going to take the white true colour dye. Just be careful when you're removing the lids and adding these dyes, because if they do go everywhere you might have a job washing them up, cleaning them up. They can make a right mess. Right, we'll mix in that white. I think we need just a little bit more for the type of pink that we're looking for. There we go. Believe it or not, when we come to the end of the process, this will create a washed out pink colour. We can now add the Polaris mix, just like we did before, build up our paste, and there we go. We've now got a second ball of paste, this time in the pink colour. Again, the texture is perfect, not too sticky, not too dry, and it's ready for rolling. We can now take one of the balls of paste and simply divide that up into 3 even balls of paste. So there's one. Doesn't matter how big they are, just any size will do, completely random. The more random the better. That's number 2. And then one final ball of white paste. Just roll that around between my hands. There we go, 3. Really doesn't matter what size they are. And then we just do the same now with the pink. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 3 white, 3 pink. We'll just take one of those balls, just start rolling it out across the table into a sausage. And again, it really doesn't matter what size they are. The more random, the better. Now take one of the pink balls and again roll it on the table into a sausage shape. It really doesn't matter what size they are. Once you've done that, lay it next to the white and keep repeating the process with all the balls until you end up with a white, pink, white, pink, white, pink. You can now bunch up all the sausages together, give them a little roll to create one bigger sausage like so. And now we can take this sausage and feed it into the end of our bait gun. There we go, in it goes, on with the cap. Okay, the paste is ready and the gun is loaded. All we need to do now is prepare our rolling table with a little bit of that olive oil. Just put a few drops across the table, and using your index finger, just rub that up and down all the grooves. They only need just the lightest of coating. With the table now lightly oiled and ready to roll, we can gun out a sausage of paste across the base of the rolling table like so. We're just going to take our time and just line that bit of paste up perfectly, line up the top section of the table and just slide that back and forth, and there we go. We've created our first batch of swirly pop-ups. Flecks of white, flecks of pink, custom and unique to us. So just to quickly go over that again, firstly gun out your paste across the base of the table, line up the sausage like so, line up the top of the table onto the base, slide it forwards and backwards, and there you go, another batch of pop-ups ready for boiling. There we go, that's all the paste rolled out into baits. I did actually roll some into the 12mm size just to give us an alternative, place them onto the plate like so, so they're ready for the final stage, the boiling process. So bring some water to a vigorous boil and then begin to add your pop-ups, just a few at a time. So I'm adding 16mm pop-ups first, around about a dozen, because I don't want them taking that water off the boil. We're then going to boil these baits for 2 minutes, just stirring them from time to time just so that they don't stick together. And once that 2 minutes is up, we can then remove the baits from the water, lay them out onto the towel or air dry tray just so that they can dry off nicely. There we go, just a couple of baits left. We're now ready for another batch. I'm going to add the 12mm size this time so I can add a few more, and again we're going to boil these for 2 minutes, just stirring them so that they don't stick together, and we'll keep going until all the baits are boiled and laid out onto a towel or air dry tray, and we'll leave them like this for a minimum of 24 hours. Once dried, the baits are now nice and hard and can be added to a small pop-up jar like this. Now they would have lost a little flavour through the boiling process, and we can put this back into the baits just by adding a couple of mil of each of our flavours over the top of the baits into the tub, and then just give the tub a nice good shake just to evenly coat all those pop-ups with the flavour. And there we go, there's our swirly two-tone washed out pink pop-ups ready to go. Presented on a hinge rig with a size 6 hook, our 16mm pop-ups hold up that heavy presentation perfectly. The smaller 12mm baits are perfect for scaled down presentations, or as you see here, a critically balanced snowman rig. Okay, now for the part that you've all been waiting for, details on how you can enter our bait making giveaway, and it's dead easy. Simply go to the comments box below and write in there your favourite mainline flavour or your favourite mainline hook bait, and we'll pick one lucky winner at random, which is exactly what we did with our snowman rig giveaway, where the lucky winner was Billy Samkin. Well done, Billy, we'll get all those bits out to you as soon as you get in contact with us. Right, thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. If you don't yet subscribe to the channel, please hit that subscription button below, we'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like to watch some more carp fishing videos, I'll leave links to those videos here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.